Facebook first, or on the YouTubes. Make sure I have my YouTube muted. Okay, it looks like
It's live.
That's good. Oh, it's live. We're all so cute. All right. So let's see. We'll wait just a second here. We'll see if people show up.
Hopefully they do.
If not, I mean, they can go back and watch it, but I mean, it'll already be after the episode.
Right.
So that's why doing the Facebook Live thing was so nice, because it was easily consumable. It just showed up in your Facebook feed and you could just click and you're watching it from Facebook. So there's an extra step here with the YouTube setup. So we'll see if that diminishes our viewership. Ooh, I can put this too.
Where's the link at? I can't see it.
I mean, it's Sequester community, or I can post it in here. And you can click on it from here. All right, let's see. I'm wondering if Audrey will message me like, okay, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Right.
Do we need an intro song?
We do, right?
Somebody pick a song. I'll play it on my
should get
computer.
on it. Just play it on your ukulele.
Then.
But you guys can see it through the link. I know some of you said you're on it. It still says like one viewer right now, but
but the thing is, if you go to the Facebook page, you have to click on your thing first.
right.
No, you can't really tell that it's live per se. Unless you click on it.
Trying to get to a chorus.
We're on YouTube. I mean, so that might copyright.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
No. So I mean, like, we're on YouTube. So
Yeah.
it might copyright strike.
Oh, good point. Yeah, no, I'm not smart.
Anybody's watching and they're in the chat, if they could like message a chat comment or something, and so we know that we should like try to get this thing started.
Yeah, the five of us are ready to perform for the one person that's watching right now. So
Hey,
You know,
you
those are
gotta
the
start
dedicated
somewhere.
fans.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
still,
Started at the bottom, now I'm here.
Okay.
Hey, there's 3 people watching now, and it's probably the 3 of us. 3 out of 5 of us have it up. I did post something else in Sequester community, but it hasn't been approved yet. Let's see.
come on, Audrey.
Do you think it would make sense to?
I wasn't gonna blame anybody, but
Do you think it would make sense to screen record this and live stream it the way you did last week?
what's that?
Do you think it would make sense to live stream and screen record this right now?
I have no idea what those things mean, so probably not.
Like, if you record your screen right now and live
There we
stream
go.
what you did last week,
Oh my gosh, I have no idea how I would even begin doing that. All right, we need like one posting chat, one comment that shows that we are okay. We got people are filling in now. Yes, Audrey's hyping us up. She's like, "Get in here! The hype is real. We're actually doing it.
Yeah.
It's actually happening this time."
Woo.
All right.
Let's. How do you guys feel? You feel like we just do this thing?
I feel like let's do this thing.
All right, cool. And then people can go back and watch it later. But Audrey's hyping us up right now. She's getting it crazy. I should put it on Twitter too, but we baby steps here. All right. So for those watching, hello. I am Bill Methling, and welcome to the Sequester Windup. This is Sequester Season 3, pre-Episode 4. So we're gonna walk through any crazy ideas and things that we want to still address from Season or episode 3 that hasn't been out there yet. Maybe do a couple predictions on episode 4 and where this thing is going. Audrey dropped a huge bomb of a hint of what the challenge is going to look like, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I got scared when I saw it. So I don't know where you guys want to start, but first, let's go around the horn a little bit and do some quick introductions onto our panel of amazing community members and fans of Sequester. Just a brief, like your name, how you got invested in Sequester, and like maybe like your top thought coming from this last episode or from anything with the season. What is your hot take that you think is going to stir some people up? So Noah, Salmon, you were here last time. Why don't you guys jump in, or why don't you jump in first and give us a little bit of info about yourself?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Noah. I've been playing orgs for a couple months now. I, through that, got invested in Sequester and the online community and all the games online. And I'll tell you what, if I get a chance today, we're going to do some ranting about Kevin because, buddy, I live in Cincinnati too. I love you. You've been one of my favorites this whole time. But the way you handled coming back into the game was absolutely disgusting. You had, I'm not going to get into it right now, you had that entire night, production sequestered you for an entire night to think about how you were going to handle yourself when you came back in. And it's not like you calmed down. You went higher and above and tried to act like Dan Giesling after coming out of solitary confinement in Big Brother 14. But in a way that blows my mind. And it's just, come on, work on yourself again, buddy. And the way you treated Kristen was not okay. But we'll get into it. I'm loving the show so far. Everyone's doing an amazing job. Audrey's doing amazing. Production, everyone involved. This is just such a great community.
Awesome. No, yeah, we're glad to have you on the panel. You were great to talk to a couple weeks ago. And your opinions are nothing less than outrageous and wonderful. And you're a good game player. You know your game stuff. So let's jump across my screen at least to Isaac, who Emily has coined the wet queen. Isaac, the wet queen. Why don't you talk? Why don't you talk about how'd you get involved in Sequester? You are super hype in the community, and why don't you talk about some things that maybe people would remember you from?
I'm Isaac. I make memes. I got into Sequester just because I had a couple of friends that played the first season, the first live season. I've been like on and off playing orgs for like a couple of years now. It's not really my thing to get into games. I'm more prefer to watch and comment and drag and read people, which, hello, I'm here. I'd say my biggest takeaway, I mean, we already touched on Mayhem. I actually want to give a shout out to Kristen, who is playing one of my favorite games ever, where she kind of just sits and then people walk up to her. It's like, Kristen, your name did get put out there. Oh, okay. Kristen, I want you to vote for this person. No, I don't want to do that. I love her. It's very, very fun to watch her sit back and watch all these people that are playing way too hard a couple episodes in.
Absolutely. And people aren't pushing back on Kristen yet. She's kind of
Right.
saying this is how it is. And even Kevin, was a little tamed by her saying, okay, we'll
Right.
throw our vote.
I loved it.
All right. Going around the horn, we have Emily, I think a new celebrity in the Facebook Sequester community.
Celebrity.
Yes, as far as your posts go, I think they're the most liked, they're the most loved, the most laughed at. So why don't you introduce yourself? How'd you get involved in Sequester, and what is your favorite thing that you put out into the community so far?
Oh, okay. So, hi, everybody. My name's Emily Pitch. I am 20 years old, and I'm the Sequester meme girl who also plays ukulele and thinks she can read tarot cards. But, yeah. Anyways, I got into Sequester because I started, following it about last season because CJ, of course. I knew of her, and then she was playing it, so I'm like, I'll give it a watch. And then after that, I started getting, really invested to watching it. And then this season, I just started making memes and making fun of the season 3 cast because they're just so memeable. It's great.
Yes, your cat doppelganger post, I think, had everybody dying. It was perfect, especially in this world of that crazy cat meme that's floating around. It was just absolutely perfect. Well, what's up, Emily and Josiah? I think I know you very well, but people probably know your name and probably recognize your name. But how are you involved in this community? How have you been involved, and what are you thinking about the season so far?
I've been involved with watching Sequester since the very, very, very beginning, from the beginning of the online version. Having watched from that very first night, and I've been playing in some of the minis. Some result of one of the last mini I was in didn't go so hot, but. Again, one of my takeaways from this season, I still love the fact that with last week's episode, it's just like, okay, we have a girls' alliance, and then just Emily walks out, and it's like Erica walks out of the room, and it's just like, fuck this hoe, like I love that.
And Josiah, yeah, you are definitely someone that is often robbed in Sequester minis. People root for you. You're so rootable. Twitter lights up rooting for you, and then you are just one of the first to go. If you ended up in the real game, what was going to be your approach to not being first?
Definitely try and get on everyone's good side, obviously, but that's number one. But number two, also just with how high octane Sequester is, it goes on, like, it goes so quickly that you have to adapt so quickly to every single thing. And like even in the minis, like you have to adapt quickly, because it's like with the minis you only have it's like the whole game, a week's worth of game. Like they were able to film it in a week, but it's like you take a week-long game and cram it into like 5 hours.
Yeah, it's the ultimate adrenaline rush. I mean, so they say that Sequester is the same. Hamza even said Sequester was way more stressful than Big Brother ever was, and I 100% agree. When I played the online version, it was just a week, 2 hours a night, and even that, I couldn't sleep at night. We lost weight from not eating, from being so nervous, and imagine in the mini form, it's just all that adrenaline, second by second.
And then Bill and you and I both know what it's like to room mod the minis, which is
true,
even more interesting.
Yes. So let's talk about let's jump into this last episode. I want to know what you guys think about the Ballbuster competition, because there's been some positive things said about it, some negative things said about it, as far as how it comes off on camera, and there's a lot of it's polarizing whether Audrey should have revealed it to us right away, or done that kind of that fade edit where it came after the morning routine of the other castmates. So what did you think about the competition, and did it come off well in your opinion? So Isaac, I'm going to jump to you first.
I think that it was displayed in the right way, because if we just went right into the battle and then it's just like, and it's over, and then we see Kevin running in, I liked it flipped, because at the end of the day, it wasn't really that dramatic of a competition. It wasn't like the first elimination. So I think do I think it should be a challenge? I don't know. Just because of you always have to do it that way, where it's like a reveal after the fact, because nobody really wants to watch people running around like for 5 minutes, or a 5-second like immediate hit. I don't know. It's fine. I like the way that it went. And seeing mayhem, I have so much to say, but I'm not going to get sidetracked.
Well, Noah, you're a competition. I think you're a strategist. And what did you think about the 2 big balls that were in the middle, outside of the 3 actual dodgeballs themselves? So like those yoga balls, they were used to protect you, or used as a barrier, but they were essentially a moot point in the competition. Is there a way to use those big balls, Noah? And how would you use your big balls?
So, okay. So I think what's very interesting about this one in particular is you have the 2 most aggressive people there, Jay West and Kevin. So it's obvious, at least for those 2 people, that they're just going to go up and throw the balls, and they're not going to care about the big ones, because trying to pick up that larger one even if you were to guard yourself with it, the other person's going to be right in front of you. When you're picking that one up, they're going to have enough time to smack you with a small one and get you out of the competition. So I think they got kind of unlucky with how quick the 3 rounds went. So which is why I think it was a really smart idea for them to go ahead and do the first 2. Luckily it was 1-1, and then have us go through that night phase, see everyone talking, and then have the winner revealed and come back in after, and then show us how it ended. I think they edited it the best way possible. The way the competition was set up, it just kind of didn't really work out for me because the circle was way too small. I feel like that was bound to happen no matter what, unless you had 2 people in there who weren't going to be as active or weren't going to try as hard. But this is Sequester. Everyone in there got cast for a reason. Everyone in there is going to go balls to the wall, literally in this case.
Right.
I don't think there's any way they could have prevented this from happening based on the setup of the competition.
Well, Emily, what if you're put in this competition against Kevin? How does Emily, or how might a female or a smaller individual end up using the big balls, or addressing the strategy of the game a little bit differently than we saw?
Here's the thing. The big balls were a distraction. They had no use. If you wasted your time to go pick up the big ball, let's just say you were asking for yourself to get hit with a ball the second that they run out of 2 balls.
Right.
They were just going to grab a new one. What were you going to do? Pick up the ball, then block yourself, then go pick up another ball? Like, complete waste of time in my eyes. I'm pretty tiny, but I'm not too athletic. I'll try to just dodge being tiny and then, just keep throwing balls at them. There's not much to say about this comp. There's not much strategy you can use other than hit them, don't get hit.
Yeah, Braden brings up a good point. This is what I was thinking. It was mentioned on Rap as well. So Braden says, what about throwing the big ball up in the air as a smoke screen and then hitting him underneath potentially with a smaller ball? I was also thinking, what if you addressed it, Josiah, with just kicking the ball first at the person, letting them take the blow back, and then picking up a small ball.
Right.
It doesn't say you weren't. I don't know if that's something they could have done, but I mean,
that is so much. That's just so distracting.
In the comments, who knows?
Yeah, Emily says she would have used it to deflect the other ball. I mean,
yeah.
I wonder if you were holding one of the smaller balls, if you could use that like in dodgeball, you can bounce the other balls coming your way as a shield.
Right.
I don't know if we were given all of the ins and outs, the fine print here, but that could be another strategy.
I did agree with Noah. I do wish that the circle was bigger because it felt like they were really close to each other. If it was bigger or there were things that they can hide behind, then it would have been more intense and it would have involved more physical activity. But since they were so close, it didn't really feel like much. But the way they edited it, they made it feel like more than it was, which I applaud them for that.
Yeah.
And Brian and Braden here is saying that he doesn't think that they were allowed to kick. So there goes my strategy. All right, well, so we have Jay West goes home, he eats his humble pie, and he heads back into the pre-jury house, and Kevin returns, beating his chest straight out of the Wolf of Wall Street, and he decides to make a victory speech. I knew you had something to say about a victory speech, and I have a feeling Isaac has something to say too.
So I have the speech, the audio for it, if that's allowed.
Go for it.
Here's him right after Hunter's confessional being upset. So here we go.
All right. Let's talk what the fuck happened last night. Jay West disrespected me and diminished my character. Nobody's going to come at me, call me a little bitch. Then he goes into, you're a fucking spy. I'm not a spy. It's you guys who need to check your alliances because people are talking. That's how I get my information. Right when Jay West called me out.
Who do you think you are? You can say that in your confessionals, but dude, people are only going to get more upset. You were a target because of this attitude. You need to take some time to step back and not call other people out because saying that you get all this information and at the same time saying, oh, I don't have any power in this game, those are two conflicting things.
He is so lucky that this realm is all about getting weak people voted out and not strong people, because his ass would have been gone if there were any other round the way that he
I would have booted him.
Also, can I just point out, Jay West is actually in the comments right now.
Yes.
Oh, hi,
What's up, Wes? The mess is under the chat. Good old Wes. Oh, West. Well, I hope you can stir up Kim a little bit more in this pre-jury house because that was
Really?
epic. So we still give you your praise there.
Quiet.
Okay.
Kim's looking for her moment.
Now we move. So let's move forward a little bit. So okay. Oh, my favorite thing about the Kevin speech was, he's like, "All right, and let's go." Someone references him like as like a terrible like middle school coach. And I'm a coach, so we have to get that coach. Let's go, but he starts clapping his hands and shit. And I mean, that up to that point, I was gonna give him credit, like, okay, this is fine, but the clapping, let's have a good day, that was too much.
Yep, that's how you
Oh
coach
my God.
some kids in soccer in like elementary school.
Great. Oh, Emily Lemieux, look at what she just commented.
Let's see. Maybe let's see. Well, okay, Emily. Emily's here for the clickbait. Okay, so let's move forward. So unfortunately, yeah, Jay West is in pre-jury. Kevin's back in the game, and we find out that we are playing buddy system. And we have our guys lined up and our girls lined up, and they each draw a bandana, and they're told that they are in pairs and they are working together. They're voting together, and they will have to be eliminated and battle each other. Emily, who's your partner? Who's your first pick? Who do you want as your male counterpart in this twist here?
Honestly, I would probably go for Hunter just because out of all the guys, he doesn't seem the weakest, but he doesn't seem the strongest. I feel like if we were put together, we wouldn't be targeted for being too strong or too weak. And he seems to be socially stable with people.
Right.
Is this social stability going to last? Braden, I think, has lit the fuse. Calling out Hunter. Hunter turns beet red. Hunter drops the C word on Sequester.
He's totally right.
Hunter's ready to roll.
He was right. He said that Hunter was going to cause a scene, was going to act like a little baby. That didn't necessarily happen in the full way, but he definitely got a bit agitated. And I think in most of the scenarios, I think what Braden did was a pretty good effort. I love that he didn't just sit down and like wait for the battle match to happen. He actively went out and tried to make something happen. So didn't work, but I applaud him for that because he was put in probably the worst situation. I can't think of like another duo. I mean, no offense to like Dina, but like the two of them together are seen as weak, and in this round, you're going to target weak people. Can't think of a worse scenario. I think that you want to be in a strong pair. I think that the whole Dustin and Jayla being together, both being, as they said, 6 feet tall, like you're not going to vote for that person. You're not going to go to a battle match against the two of them this early in the game. So it's about strength. So it's a pretty rough situation.
And Jennifer already says she's rooting. I think this is Dustin's mom, to be honest, isn't it? It's some relation, right? She's rooting for Braden and Dina. We will see. I feel like the posts that Audrey has put out there into the world really suggest that the majority of the fan base is rooting for Dina and Braden. But wow, Braden was given this episode. I mean, he became the episode. It just feels like his big moment. And I don't know if it's just because he's going to turn into this great character after he comes back, or because everyone tried to get him out. Or is this Braden's like final bow? Like, thank you, Braden, for being a big part of the community. You're awesome. Everyone loves you. Here's your big edit. Sorry, didn't work out. What do you guys?
Can I just say though, I feel like the community has jinxed the people going home, because every time she's like, "Oh, who should win? Mary Payton or Drew?" Mary Payton gets a majority of the votes, goes home. The same thing happened last week. And if people are rooting for Dina and Brady, goodbye. I root for the underdogs. That's just me.
Well, who's the underdog here? Honestly.
Next question, please.
All right, Josiah. So Ty was given the green light by Braden. Braden says, "Hey, don't worry. If you vote me, there's no way I'm pulling you in." Was this a big mistake on Braden's part? It seems to be, according to everyone that's talking about this season right now, the misstep in Braden's big plan here.
Right. Yeah. Thinking about it, that might have actually, just having seen what can happen in this game between the online version, live version, and the minis, with this, Brayden shot himself in the ass. I can say that now.
Yeah, definitely. From my perspective, I see Brayden as somebody that's very smart and somebody that can make snap decisions in a moment. But I feel like, and I might be wrong, but I feel like there was a lot of like revisionist kind of attitude in his confessionals where like he made all of these moves and wasn't really piecing them together in his head. And then after it was all said and done, like went back and was like, okay, and this is why I did this, and this is why I did this, and it all makes sense now. When really I don't think it made much sense when it was actually happening.
Brayden says, right after that happened, after he talked to Ty, he said, I turned to the camera after that and was like, oh, that wasn't logical. Yeah, I think that was your misstep for sure. Oops. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes back. Is that going to be the nail in his coffin? Was that the big mistake that he made?
Well, I mean, if he does come back from this battle, he's shown that he's willing to throw anyone and everyone under the bus. So what does that say about his game down the line? It would have been better just to know that you're going into the battle and still keep your connections so that if you win, you can come back and be chill. Because the only reason he got in is because he was with Dina, not because people don't like him. But now people don't like him.
And where do all these other pairs fall? Was there any pair that stood out to you as someone that, if you were in a battle match, you would pull that pair in, or a group that you would want to be working with in this space? Either Noah or Josiah, like any group that you're like, oh, this caught your attention.
Well, we haven't heard a lot from Touring and Thomas, so at least if I got eliminated, I probably would have picked the two of them. I think, well, we've heard a lot from Tori, but I think Thomas, his position in the guys' alliance is dwindled. So I think it wouldn't be too hard to pick them to go against the battle match. In terms of working with, and as in an alliance, I think a pair in there that you'd really want to try to get close to at this point would be, I really do think that people are sleeping on the Drew and Erica side of things, because they were targeted as a last minute effort by Hunter and by Jessica and Brayden and Nina, but in most scenarios, once we get past, if they were to get past the jury phase or get to the phase where it's just competitions, those are the type of people that can really beast out competitions. I think Drew's already proven that he knows what he's doing. Erica, not so much, but I think that having relationships with those people is important. Even if they're going to be targeted a lot, being good friends with the people who are going to be targeted and who are going to be out there and winning competitions is good, because they're not going to get picked for battle matches.
Yeah, Josiah, someone that's played some of these games before, especially in the mini version, time is of the essence, and sometimes you don't have a lot of time. If Brayden had more time, would this have worked out? Would Erica and Drew have been put in?
Thinking about it, they possibly. I mean, because in the minis, like there have been rounds like where you only have between 2 and 10 minutes to strategize in some cases. So if you only have 10 minutes to strategize, that's not going to be enough time to potentially save your ass.
Okay. Oh, Brayden is like, all right, look at this guy. Brayden coming through. The round was 25 minutes. I feel like there was a ticking clock on one of the screens in the background in the house. I wonder if that was actually a countdown clock. I couldn't tell. But it didn't seem like Brayden had too much time after the actual, the house meeting that he called. It didn't seem like there was too much time available, but maybe if there had been, things would be different. I think Drew has already confirmed that if Drew and Erica did go in, they wouldn't put up Brayden and Dina. So, wow, just missed chances here. And sometimes time is the devil in this game.
Oh, there was? Okay, it looks like there was a countdown clock.
In my opinion, though, I know, you just said that they wouldn't put up Brayden and Dina, but that's a lot to say when you know that things change in the moment.
Right.
If in the moment they just felt so scared to go up against a strong team like Drew or Erica, physically strong, they might have, in their heads for a split second said, I want to go against one of the weakest physical teams. I want to go against Dina and Brayden. Sorry, guys, but I want to stay in this game.
True, Isaac.
Yes, there's loyalties, but also you need to think about yourself in this game at some points and think what's going to get you to the next round.
Right.
And Isaac, I have a question for you. So I feel like regardless of who comes back, this this group that all battled were kind of together, and it was like the Orger group, the Dina, the Hunter, the Ty, the Braden, the Kristen. Now at least 2 of them are going home, and Ty could potentially be removed from Thomas, and Braden could eventually be, potentially be removed from Kristen. Where does this group go now? Because I feel like this twist, in my opinion, is now driving the strong players together, and we have this group that's battling each other on the outs. And personally, I feel like they might remain on the outs. Where do you think these egos all come into play once 2 of them come back?
I mean, it really, like, with this coming round, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen. I'm still trying to figure out, like, all the different systems and how everything's going to work out. And because Sequester is so fast-paced, and we've already seen that the Orgers are totally fine throwing each other under the bus. So I think that's going to start to trickle out into the rest of the group, and people are going to have to start really splitting off and finding the people that are kind of just sitting back. Like Tori and Cameron, they are like so chill right now. Like last episode, everyone and their fucking mother was running to them to let them know what their plan was. And they don't seem to be like, Tori got a bunch of votes episode 1, and now she's like totally off people's radars. No one's talking about getting her out now, which is shocking to me based on how she acted 2 episodes ago when she was going around confronting people for voting for her. I think that the people that know each other are a little too obsessed with each other and not paying enough attention to the people that they don't know, in my opinion.
And Braden now has brought in this theme of power versus chaos. And a lot of these big hitters have the power, which means that our smaller players, the floaters or the org players, or the people that return tonight, are going to be the ones that are going to be put in a situation where they need to create more chaos. It's even been hinted at that someone's going to be talking about creating chaos again this coming episode. If you do the Let's Pick App contest, that was hinted at. Who's going to be causing chaos now?
Right.
Cam?
Oh, look at what Emily Lemieux posted about in the comment. She feels like Dina isn't getting enough credit here. She confronted the issues that were in her way and is paired with a very smart player.
Not to mention, she saved herself week 1.
Right.
She was literally out the door already. And then
Right.
the second she hears that she's getting targeted, she was like, let's see, am I going to do it their way? And am I going to like slowly get into it like they're telling me? No, she like went crazy, confronted them. They got scared of her, and they switched their votes to just make her happy so they wouldn't pick her in the battle match. And then none of them ended up actually voting her.
Right.
But I feel like she's a big part of the reason why Braden got targeted, because she didn't have those social connections, because she had such like a false start. If she had had those social connections, maybe people wouldn't have looked at her and said like, oh, she's weak, we'll just go after her. It would have been a lot harder for them to do that if she was building these strong relationships like people were in night 1 that she wasn't able to. It's not just that she's a weak player, it's that she got a false start too. And then Braden got tagged onto that.
I do kind of want to see Dina return from this battle match, solely because I want to see what more she has to bring.
Right.
Yeah, her personality is unlike a lot of personalities. Yeah, her personality is unlike a lot of personalities that we see in these types of games. She seems very low key and chill, but I know, through org people that when she competes extremely hard, as she, has definitely declared, her willingness to attempt to win this challenge in her very subtle phrasing. But I feel like she's going to give this competition her all, which brings me to, did anyone get a chance to look at this clip of what the competition is coming up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw lots of physicality. So.
Which at first scared me.
Yeah.
At first scared me because I'm like, well, if Braden and Dina are going to come back, let's see a mental comp. We've seen lots of physical comps. We're due for a mental comp, and it doesn't look like it's one at all. It looks like a challenge comp, another bungee cord comp where they're going to be running from one end away from each other, and then they're attached in the middle. They're going to have to drag one another to the end here. Who has the leg up in this competition? I don't know.
I don't know, but I can tell you this right now. It's going to make a great meme for the page.
Right.
Well, Christine's the sprinter. She has really strong legs. Ty and Braden seem on even playing fields.
Yeah.
And then where does that put Dina? I mean, I don't know.
It
They
depends
are
on the
saying in
involved,
this
I
like
think.
in these past episodes, people have been talking about their like physicality. What is that word?
Yeah,
Anyways,
that's fine.
they keep talking about it, but at the same time, a lot of these challenges, I don't know if running track and field helps you with, throwing a dodgeball at someone and stuff like that. I
Right,
think
but it
people are
does help you in
overlooking.
running away from someone as fast as you can, because that's what this
But when
is.
you're in a circle that big, how does that help you?
I don't know if the circle is involved in this. I don't know.
Well-
We don't know. We've just seen snippets.
There
I'm
was
also
a
yoga
question in the Let's
instructor.
Pick
Like,
app,
if you do yoga, that apparently helps you in comps.
the very first question in the Let's Pick app is
Yeah, I
how much money
just
will
think
be
like
provided
people are overthinking physical ability right now because
Right.
there is more to this game than being physical. Especially with the box challenge, like it doesn't matter how many boxes you got, you still might not get an LOS.
And Noah, you mentioned something about this Let's Pick app.
Yeah, so the very first question for this week on the Let's Pick app is how much money was bribed in the battle match? And you have options ranging from $100 to $500. I'm not sure exactly what that means in terms of the game, but it seems like maybe is it the contestants bribing with each other on the opposite teams, or is it you wagering some money within the game in order to get your spot back in? Do you have any ideas of what that could be? Has that happened before?
I don't think we've seen a bribe. Lots of times this happens on Survivor, where they're in the middle of a competition and they're bribed with, well, if you want peanut butter and jelly, you can drop now and get some, advantage as far as getting more energy in the game. But it looks like, according to the blurb or the sneak peek that we got, that the competition is going to take place. I personally feel, and I have no insider information, I personally feel like this is going to end in a draw. They're going to be stuck on the ground. Everyone's going to be winded, everyone's going to be exhausted, and no one's going to move. And maybe that $500 could be a bribe. Like, we'll give you $500 if you resign yourself to the pre-jury house. You get some of your money back, your travel money and whatever, and we call it. Otherwise, we're going to go to a wheel and nobody gets any money. I feel like that could be the way this goes.
Right.
I just feel like that's such a dumb way to lose, though. Like, yeah, you get some respect for, like, oh, yeah, they're making a profit. But at the same time, like, you won't be a respected player from the community.
Oh,
Because
right.
you'll also be known as a person
You will be hated.
who just gave up. She was like, oh, I'm not doing this for the title. I'm not doing this for myself. You're doing it for the money, which is not respected in my eyes.
Honestly, if it is a draw and they offer 500, I hope that they just stay on the ground out of breath and don't take it. Like, really, I would rather see that.
There's so much more respect for you if you just say, well, let's go to the wheel.
Emily Lemieux. Oh my God.
This is totally fan fiction. This is a fictional idea that it was in my brain, but I feel, oh gosh. I mean, you saw when sneak peek, when Christine just flipped backwards after being attached to Dina. I think Dina just needs to lay down and hold down and not fucking move, Dina. Don't move. Right. And that's how you win, or at least that's how you draw.
But would you guys do that? Would you guys offer people money?
No way.
For them to quit?
Oh yeah. You can take $2,500. Like, you can take all of the. I want to keep playing Sequester.
A hot take.
Yeah. Right. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I would also. I don't know how you would feel about doing a competition like this. I would be nervous that I would really hurt myself.
Oh right. Oh, definitely.
I would get dragged. I would not do well in this at all. I'm 6 feet tall, but I weigh like nothing. So
Isaac, I'm 4'11". They will literally. They can pick me up with one hand if they
they'll,
wanted to.
swing you around with the rope.
Are we going to see a battle of the sexes here after these orgers get picked off? Is it going to be the strong guys versus the strong girls? Like, is this where this is going?
So in the very first episode,
everybody hates Erica because she's with the guys, and she's not like hanging out with Tori and Cameron. So it really seems like it is going to turn into a battle of the sexes, very much so.
I mean, it's smart of her not to trust Tori and Cameron. They don't like her.
Right.
So, like, she's doing what's best for her. I'm not saying, like, oh, girl power and stuff like that. I'm saying do what's best for you. And if the guys are best for her, then don't pay attention to the whole, like, oh, guy alliance that didn't work out week 1, girl alliance that isn't working out week 3. Like, do what's best for you.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't fault her for her gameplay at all so far. I think she's doing the best with what she's been given.
Right. Also, bring up this comment from Kristen.
Okay.
Oh, poor Kristen.
So Kristen says, I did a comp like this in a Survivor game, and I literally got dragged to the other side of the field in 5 seconds and blacked out.
Kristen, just keep sitting in your bed. You're fine. No one's going to drag you if you just stay there.
You need to go with
Kristen's
ball
still-
formation. You're heavier that way.
Kristen's still trying to, convince people that she's weak. We know you're stronger. We know. The game's over. You don't have to convince us. That's for second chances.
Are we ready to talk about the kingdom?
Absolutely. Nice.
God, let me
Okay.
get my notes out.
Oh, so the Kingdom's dirty. It's a dirty, dirty game. And if you go back to Black Hat, we saw on episode 5 of Black Hat called The Plot Thickens. We have this twist involved into the game. And then if you go back to the OG Sequester days, we had this twist involved in All Stars.
Yeah.
And both entertaining, but
Yes.
I feel like if anyone that's playing now currently went back and watched Black Hat, that the game is going to look a little bit different, which is why I think Audrey said everyone spruce up on these rules.
If they let the 2 people at the top stay there again, like Curtis and Sam Loveridge, I'm going to be infuriated. So whatever happens, I hope that they purposely try to make the kingdom get it wrong every time. And I don't know, are we about to try to explain the rules? I feel like it's kind of hard to do.
I mean, we are, yeah, we can attempt to. So let's
I'm bringing up.
should we talk about it in Black Hat terms? So
I have the Black Hat written down of like who's in what position and stuff.
I have the screen grabs of the rules brought up right on my phone.
Okay, so you start out by everyone is given a list of all the players, or maybe you read it yourself, but you have to rank all the players in order from most popular to least popular, or just who you like the best, or maybe if you know it's Kingdom, you'll do it in a certain way. But everyone ranks the players, and everyone will get probably averaged up, and we have this official ranking based on everyone's set. I believe it'll be top. I mean, it didn't specify, but it should be the top 2 people will be the knights, and they will get to select 2 people from the very, very bottom, or select 1 person from the very, very bottom to be up for elimination, and everyone else at the bottom has to choose whether they want that person to be up for elimination or if they do not. That doesn't matter, though. What matters is that the people at the top guess whether or not they will be voted yes or no for that person. If they correctly guess, then that person will be sent into elimination. If they guess wrong, however, the entire game flips, and the 2 people who were at the top, the knights, will then be up for elimination, and in the next round, it'll all be shifted up. There's actually 2 people in the middle who convey information between the top of the house and the bottom of the house. And if it were to flip, then those 2 would have to go to the top. The 2 people from the top go to the bottom, and 2 people from the bottom go into the middle. And this cycle continues 3 times. So you can have anywhere from 3 to 6 people up for elimination by the end of the game. On Facebook, Audrey said 3 to 7. I don't know if that was a typo or I'm just misunderstanding something. But
I'm not 100% sure. I imagine it being between 3 and 6. But
yeah, I could be wrong, but that's you either have 1 person put in, or you have the 2 people from the top being put in, and then at the end of that, for anywhere from 3 to 6 people, those are the only people who can receive votes to be eliminated from the game, and then they pick someone for the battle match and move on. And last time, what happened was the 2 people at the top, Sam and Curtis, both were just picked the 3 people, and everyone went along with it. And those are the 3 people up for elimination. It was Clayton, Jamie Lee, and Kate. and they eventually voted out Kate in the end round. And that was the goal the whole time. Nothing really special happened with it, but hopefully these people smarten up. There's a lot more drama this season compared to Black Hat, so let's see some crazy stuff happen.
Right.
Well, predictions for after they all rank each other, who are they going to rank as, I believe it's most popular, essentially, is what they're being asked to rank people by, as popularity, or I don't think it's who has most power. I think it's who's most liked.
Okay, it says the rules that Audrey had posted on the website say, I've asked each player to privately rank each other from most powerful to least powerful in the game.
Oh, good. Good correction. So that changes everything.
Right under that, it says that she's created a hierarchy based on their perceived popularity. So,
I guess we'll see what the episode says.
And thank you, Audrey. After you watch the first round of 8, it will 100% make sense.
Girl, I hope so, because I am trying to keep up.
Yeah,
And
I feel like Audrey has taken a strong, a lot amount of time to edit this episode so that it does make sense for the viewers, because it's so tough.
And for someone like me who's come from watching the original online version, it's just like, this has been one of my favorite twists. This was one of my favorite twists from All Stars when it happened. So just to finally just see it happen again in the live version, I'm excited because anything can happen.
And who did we lose in All Stars, Joseph?
Same thing in her head. So.
Oh, in All Stars,
wasn't it Tiffany or Donovan, something like that? Like they went real early because it was early on. Because I mean, Evie, I just remember going from room to room, just running the entire game.
Yep, Evie kept running from room to room, and then what do you know? She ended up winning the game right at the very end, the whole game.
So the noblemen and the knights are very, very important in this game. So watch for who gets ranked 3rd and 4th because they can run the show.
Which would you rather be out of the 3 different categories?
No,
for me personally, I'd love to be like one of the knights because it's just like you have this information from both sides, and you can use it to your advantage, and screw up someone else's game. Like
the thing is, what I saw a comment of somebody asking Audrey, you can't lie if you're a knight, but
thank you, Kristen.
you can be given
Donovan.
false information from one of the other 2 groups. So they can screw over the knights super easily.
Right.
By giving them false information, and then they're going to be like, well, who do you hear that from? Oh, I heard it from the knights.
Yeah, if you're in the middle, you're guaranteed safe.
Just because you're not a knight and you're not a messenger, it doesn't mean your game cannot be like completely shattered in this round.
Right.
Yep. Knights have 1 round to figure it out, and if they get it wrong, and then they move up to the kingdom, and then they have, another chance at least. Whereas the people in the bottom, they don't have an opportunity. Unless, I think that the Knights is the place where it's at. Sam and Curtis remained the kingdom the entire game. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't see that happening this time either.
So who's going to be at the top? Okay, even if it's based on power, or just say it's based on both. Say power and likability. Who's at the top?
I hope they put Kevin up there. It'd be so funny. I think Dustin and Jayla are pretty popular, so if they think of it that way, they might get put up there. But also,
I'm really thinking Jayla is going to be up there for sure.
I think she has a good chance because nobody has anything against her. So I don't think she's on anybody's outs.
Her name's been thrown out a couple of times by Tori, by Brayden. She's on people's radars, and her whole edit has been like the leader. So it makes sense for her to be thrown up to the top for sure.
Yeah.
I think if Brayden comes back from the battle match, that he'll be seen as pretty popular and might have a chance of getting some power this round. Bill. Okay.
I disagree 100% with that. I feel like he is
going
to be one of the least popular in the entire house.
Brayden's not going to do the same thing Kevin did. I think Brayden is going to have time if this is overnight, or even if it's just a couple minutes or an hour, maybe he'll have time to think about what he's done wrong and how to connect with people and get people back on his side. I think people are going to want to work with the person who comes back from the battle match.
Something that maybe is the link to all of this is Kristen. Now that Kristen's been partners with Kevin, and he respected the fact that she wanted to throw her vote or wouldn't put it on Brayden and Dina, does this build a little bit of a connection between them? Whereas if Braden and Dina do come back, somehow Kristen can work and pull in Kevin here and maybe the Drew, and maybe this becomes a thing and they can hide behind the two big guys, because that's what it seems like Dina, Braden, and Kristen want to do to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Kristen better be doing something soon, because if she makes it to floater night, she's gonna be out of there. Because right now, I'm not saying that she is a floater. I'm just saying she's hiding too much. That makes it look like she's kind of floating a bit.
Isaac,
and I don't know how much of that was Kristen convincing Kevin to do what she wanted as much as it was Kevin being like, anyone but me. I don't really care as long as it's not my name. I don't know if I don't know if he's really gonna like want to keep working with her after this round. He's got Drew, he's got Erica, he's got his people already. They might use her as like an extra vote or something, but I don't think she's going to bridge the gap between anything.
Right. And like one thing that even with just 3 episodes, one thing I've noticed is I haven't seen anyone coasting that I like, and I still get annoyed when people confuse coasting and floating. Like, oh my God.
Well, do you want to share what you think the difference is for our fans?
Well,
and can you give us a definition, identify a player in the game that is a coaster versus a player that is a floater in this cast right here?
Okay, hold on. I'm bringing up the Big Brother wiki up.
I'm putting you on the spot here. Yeah.
I'll explain my opinion on it. I think the way the Sequester defines it is a little bit different than a lot of Big Brother fans view it. I think if you're thinking about Big Brother, then you're saying, okay, June Son, Andy Herron, these people we see as rap floaters, whereas someone like a Victoria or a Annalise or a Jessica is seen as a coaster, which is usually a bad thing. Whereas, as I said, Andy or June would be seen as actually a good thing in the game, or Ian Terry. However, in this season, and in Sequester in general, I think what they're considering to be a floater would actually be what a Big Brother coaster would be, as in an Annalise or a Victoria. And so I feel like someone like Zach, if he doesn't make a move with that LOS, is going to be seen in a negative light. I think, as you said, Kristen might be in trouble if she doesn't start to – maybe she has been building some really big bonds and we haven't seen it, but she might be in a bit of hot water. I think for sure people like Drew, Kevin, Erica will be pretty safe. But yeah, I think the overall definition in Big Brother is a floater is actually a pretty good thing and coaster is the bad. Whereas in Sequester, when you think about floater night as a twist, if you're a floater, that means that you're not doing anything in the game. You're just going along as things go, which is not the same thing as being a floater in Big Brother, which is where you just float to wherever the HOH is and you actually make bonds based on whoever's in power that week, which is a valid strategy.
So if you're going into Sequester and you end up making it to floater night, you better have a speech ready to pitch your game, to prove what you think is a floater versus what you are. And you got to think about all the scenarios going into it. So start thinking now, friends. Audrey says that tonight's episode is 1 hour and 10 minutes long. Oh man, it's going to be extra juicy.
And 50 minutes of that is explaining the twist.
Oh, also true. That's going to be very true. Isaac, I have a question for you. Okay. What is your opinion? We would be remiss if we did not mention Cameron Olsen on this cast, because she is someone that seems to be loved overall by the community, but also she is a little bit polarizing and with her energy in the diary room. Some people are loving it, some people aren't. Where do you fall?
Right in the middle.
Fancy McFencerton. Isaac, I'm shook.
I did not like Cameron episode 1. I loved her this last episode. I don't know what it is. She gives off this like stone-faced energy in the game where she's not revealing anything about how she feels about people for the most part. But then she like goes hard in her confessionals and she's like, she has a lot of opinions. She has a lot of things to say, which is a smart way to play. It's better to say in a confessional than the actual game, Kevin. But how that translates to people watching, if people can't respect the way that she's playing the game and like have that sort of dichotomy between like how she's playing versus what she really thinks about these people and where she decides to say that, then it is going to come across as like, oh, she's a bitch. but I had a problem with it at first, but now that I'm seeing that she's actually like in these conversations is strategizing, she's not just sitting back and talking shit and not doing anything, I'm totally cool with it.
She's very open and honest with the way she feels, and she tells it to people. Like when she was talking to Thomas about the boys alliance, she's like, well, tell me about the boys alliance. Is there a boys alliance? Who's in the boys alliance? She's not afraid to dig in and ask questions. She's often, when she's in conversation with people, counting fingers, pointing fingers, and I think that's going to catch up with her, giving people like little handshakes and things. I think she's giving away a lot of her game in the way that she's acting in these conversations, not so much what she's saying. And then you find out in the DR that a lot of her hand actions and the way she is holding herself in these small conversations is how she really feels. She's just not. She's muting herself when she's playing, and I think that's smart. But you gotta tone down all the hand signals and the. I'm just thinking that could be a downfall. Someone's gonna see her counting her fingers around someone. Someone's gonna see her give another extra high five or a handshake. I do worry about her giving herself away.
Long term, that's definitely going to be an issue for her, but there's enough people that can't keep their mouths shut that are still playing that I think she's going to be fine for a while.
Yeah.
Who's the bottom of our kingdom, Emily? Who's the bottom? Who's the first target? Say that Jayla and Dustin are at the top. Who are they going to target first?
Jayla and Dustin.
Oh, did we lose her?
Hi, sorry.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Oh, it put you on the spot. And
Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I can't hear anybody. Okay, now I can hear you guys.
All right. So
Sorry,
Dustin and
somebody was
Jayla are at the
calling
top of the kingdom
honestly,
here.
I feel like they're gonna be like, I'm gonna target the big people and no holding back. So
You think Dustin's going to do
I
that?
can see them going after maybe Drew or Tori.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
if I'm being honest, if they do end up in the bottom. Only because I feel like Drew is more of a physical threat and Tori is just somebody that they think is socially gonna beat them if she lasts long in this game.
All right, let's go quick around the horn. Josiah, one name. Who's going home after the kingdom twist?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Ooh. I mean, it can go anything.
You have 5 seconds. 4. Sequester puts you on the spot. 3. You can and you will. 2. 1. Who's your person?
Oh, man.
Oh, I'm going to drop him.
Come on.
We got to go. Who's your person? Who goes home?
Personally, it's anyone's game. Anyone can go.
All right, we're meeting Josiah. All right, no fancy Fencersons here. Noah, who goes home?
I think that while I do love her and think I was a huge fan of the alliance of the original Bedroom Alliance of Cameron, Erica, Hunter, and Kimberly in the beginning of the first episode, I do think that Erica is someone that people can easily rally over and at least get put into one of those 3 to 6 people who gets put up for elimination. And I think at that point, based on what we've seen lately, she doesn't have the strongest connections, and I think that people might actually be willing to get her out because she is pretty physical. And I think that if it comes down to it, if she's up against other people who I suspect to be there, like maybe Dina if she comes back, or Thomas or Tori might get put in there also, I feel like Erica would be a nice target to get out. I think it's going to be Erica tonight after the twist.
All right, Josiah, Noah, when Audrey gives you a question in Sequester casting and asks you for one word, you give one word. Don't fuck it up when you are auditioning. Oh my gosh, you guys just told the whole story. All right, Isaac, one word. Who's going home?
Erica.
Me too. I also think Erica. All right, everybody, thank you so much for this very successful round of the Sequester windup before season 4. Thank you to Emily, Isaac, Josiah, and Noah for coming on and helping me out. Go grab a beer, go order a pizza, get ready for an hour and 10-minute episode of Sequester, Who Comes Back, Braden and Dina, or Christine, who we didn't even talk about this episode, or Ty, who's coming back. We will see. Also, be sure to catch my weekly meltdown directly after the episode on YouTube. You can find the link probably in the Sequester Facebook page. or just go on YouTube and look up my weekly meltdown. It'll be Deb. Phelan Fairchild is returning, and I will be actually filling in for Allison. So we have you get a double dose of Bill Methling. I'm so sorry. All right.
And also, for everyone watching, make sure to tweet along with the episode with the hashtag Sequester.
Absolutely. Hashtag Sequester everything. Like, retweet, all the good stuff as people are watching. I'll just be sitting here taking notes, but I'll trust everybody else here is going to give some great, hilarious responses to this episode. It's going to be the best one yet. Thank you, everyone. And thank you to everyone that's commenting. Have a great night. Trust us. Trust no one.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.